Hi everyone, welcome to this presentation. We'll be talking about national interest within the international community. Be sure to be filling in your notes as we go through this video, and as I pause at certain points, make sure that you are taking the time to fill in the necessary information in regards to those examples within the notes to help you practice these ideas. Let's get started. So what is national interest? It relates to national interest refers to a country's needs or wants. And there's really three types. Security interests, so military protection from outside and domestic threats to a country. So countries won't make decisions based on these security interests. Also, economic interests. Countries will make decisions based on what's best for their economy, whether it means importing something or exporting something to make more money, trading of different sorts, markets, things like that, all within the name of being able to build your economy and your economic power. The last one is called ideological, and within this, you can almost see the whole word idea, and that's exactly what it is. A country's belief systems and values and culture are reflected within their interests. So, for example, one of the ideological interests of the United States is to promote, protect, and expand the ideas of democracy and freedom of choice and will. And so the U.S. may conduct certain missions or sort of, as it were, or different or do different kinds of things and commit different actions in the world as a means of being able to protect their democratic values and ideas. So the idea is, can we all just get along? The answer simply is no. No, we cannot all get along because not everyone agrees on national interests. Not everyone agrees on what needs to get done. Can we all have the same national interests? No. Countries do not always agree on what the best idea of what they should do. Not only do countries don't agree, but people within one country don't always agree because people have different ideas on what a country needs to do. You can talk to 10 different people, and one person will say economic interests are important, are most important. Five people will say security, and four others will say ideological. And it doesn't matter. Everyone is always going to think something different about what the country should do. And so, because of this, therefore, the government is ultimately responsible for determining what national interest a country is going to try to achieve. Because you can't just listen to the people, you have to make the decision. Hopefully, the government will make the decision that's best for the country as overall. But of course, people within government have their own interests and things that they see that wielding that kind of power can mean that they can make the whole country abide by. So, no, we cannot all just simply just get along when it comes to national interest. It's a conclusion that we draw. So it's not necessarily a fact, but it's a conclusion that we draw based on different kinds of facts that we know about the world. And here's the definition for what I mean when I talk about facts. It includes a variety of different things here. And so based on that given information, we draw a conclusion, and that's what national interest is. We often describe national interest in terms of what a country should start, stop, or continue doing. So, given some information, a country is not, and this is the reasonable conclusion to draw about what kind of interest is involved, and here's what they should do about it. It's stated as a specific goal, not just a noun, but typically in a verb form. So again, what should they start doing, stop doing, or continue doing? Let's talk specifically about economic interests. So all countries want to have a strong economy while helping their people achieve higher standard of living. That's really the focal point of an economic interest. And so to figure out a country's economic interests, one has to ask themselves, what does a country want or need to do in order to achieve these goals? So if you want to have higher standard of living, you want to have a strong economy, what is it a country needs to stop, start, or continue doing in order to achieve those said goals? So take a look at my example from the notes. I'm going to pause here for a moment to allow you to write out your own examples of what you think is another example of a U.S. economic interest. Feel free to pause the video if my pause is not long enough, and start it back up when you're ready. Security interests. So all countries want to keep their people safe and secure from outside threats and also internal instability. As we talk about the government's responsibility, it's their job to maintain order and prevent chaos, etc. So that also would fall under the overarching umbrella of security interests. To figure out a country's security interests, one has to ask themselves, what does a country want or need to do in order to achieve these goals? Now, this may sound familiar. Because it is. It's the same question you would ask when it comes to economic interests, and the same question that you need to ask here for security interests. So go ahead to my example in the notes, read it, and then come up with your own example. The last one, ideological interests. All countries want to protect their way of life, their values, their way of thinking, their belief systems, etc. And they want to keep people generally happy and satisfied. That's the way to maintain order, keep chaos out of the equation, and to figure out a country's ideological interests. Here's a broken record again. One must ask themselves, what does a country want or need to do in order to achieve these goals? The same question being asked for the other two interests. Go ahead and see my example in the notes and pause the video to take your interpretation of it. And this is really the end of it, so you can just stop the video at this point. Feel free to go back and explore anything that you need to, and make sure to put questions in the interactive guide should you need them. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.